1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Yep. Good. Thank you. Please turn to page 653 in your Siddur for Eli, Eli, O God, my God. Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer leolam, hachol v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tefillat ha'adam, hachol v'hayam, rishrush shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tefillat ha'adam. Oh God, my God, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart.
Shabbat Shalom. Mixture of emotions this evening. Shabbat, of course, is always our joyous day each week of celebration, of coming together in community. But we have the emotions, and more on this a little later in the service, of kind of a flow of Jewish holidays, some ancient and some very new, that represent the high highs and low lows of our people's history. And today we're especially thinking of those who perished in the Holocaust, as we include some prayers from Yom HaShoah. Shoah is the word that's used in Hebrew to indicate the Holocaust. I'll repeat this later, but this holiday really in Israel is officially Yom HaShoah u'Gevurah, because Gevurah means strength or power or might. And so it is a day of memory, not only for those who perished in the Holocaust, but also those who fought back and resisted. And we do have, you can see the display here, including the 6 yellow candles for each, 1 candle for each million Jews killed in the Holocaust. So we opened with Eli, Eli, which is a beautiful piece of poetry. In case you're not familiar with Eli, Eli, it is a very well-known poem written by a young woman named Hannah Senesh. Has anyone heard of Hannah Senesh, know her story? Maybe one or maybe a few of you. So Hannah Senesh was a Hungarian Jew who, when she was 18, she moved from Hungary to Israel, which was really right in the midst of or the beginning, let's say, of the Holocaust. She went to Israel, she was a writer, and she was a fighter. She went to work to establish the state of Israel to be a safe haven for Jews, but she also became one of really a small group of young Jews who trained with the British military to be paratroopers and to fight in the resistance against the Nazis. There's at least 2 movies about her life, her short life, really. But she did parachute in. She was captured. She was tortured. She would not reveal the details of her mission, no matter what they did to her. Eventually was tried and executed at the age of 23 for being a fighter in the resistance against the Nazis. She also was a writer, a poet, a playwright, and this song, Eli, Eli, which is so beautiful, we're going to end with it also, is one of her poems. So candles are the symbol of hope when things are dark, and we all as a community tonight, as it is the third Friday, we all light candles, so come on up if you would like to light candles, but we also call Marian Kostrinsky up to lead us all in the blessing on page 121. So the first thing we all do is light, and the blessing comes after the lighting.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, God, source of all life, who brings us holiness through mitzvot, and who has given us the mitzvah of lighting the Shabbat candles.
Amen.
Oh, hear my prayer, I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say, Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say, Amen. And let us say, Amen.
Thank you. Everyone may go back to your seats. Yesher koach, Marian, and to all. And while you're heading back to your seats, a thank you to, we have Matthew and his assistant Molly behind me, temple president and presidential assistant. How about that? Music, we have double our number of music leaders this evening. Of course, Andy Sussman, our cantorial soloist, and Ruth Pavlo, our pianist. And I also see back there Cindy Selman and Robin Friedman joining in the choir. And thank you to Xavier for our tech. Thank you all for being here on this Shabbat. We continue with the singing of Lecha Dodi, which is a medieval poem that talks about our Shabbat day being like a beautiful bride coming into our midst. We sing verses 1, 2, and 9. On the last verse, we rise and face the door and welcome the Shabbat bride into our midst. Page 138.
Lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני העם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated. Chatzi Kaddish, page 144. Yitkada v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
B'alma divarach rute v'amlech malchute. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayedecho Beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvizman karib, ve'emeru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mivarach, li'alam alal me'almaya, yitparach, yitparach, ve'yishtabach, ve'yitpa'ar, ve'yitromam, ve'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitale, v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha berichu. Leila min kol berchata, v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damihiran b'alma, v'yemeru, amen. We rise for Baruch Hu, page 146.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Before the Shema, which is on page 152, a reading from Elie Wiesel, really a leading light and teacher for many, many years after the Holocaust. Came from the Holocaust as a survivor, one of the few who survived in his family, and spent decades working on human rights for all. So, from Elie Wiesel, true, we are often too weak to stop injustices, but the least we can do is to protest about them. True, we are too poor to eliminate hunger, but in feeding one child, we protest against hunger. True, we are too timid and powerless to take on all the guards of all the political prisons in the world, but in offering our solidarity to one prisoner, we denounce the tormentors. True, we are powerless against death, but as long as we keep one man, one woman, one child alive, 1 hour longer in safety and dignity, we affirm humanity's right to live. We continue with our traditions, maybe central teaching that one God unites all people, unites all things that live, weaves through all of us. Shema 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto le'olam, le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated. We continue with Debbie Friedman's And You Shall Love on your song sheet.
And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be upon your heart, shall be upon your heart. Shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be a symbol between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorpost of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
this season is not only about remembering the Holocaust, but during this season, we have Israel Independence Day, we have Jerusalem Day, we have days of great celebration for our people, times when we felt as a people that we didn't have power and we were able to move to a place where we felt empowered. That is the spirit of Mi Chamocha, the song, the prayer on page 158, that exclamation of joy, moving from a place of enslavement to a place of independence and freedom. Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilo, osef vele. Nora tehilo, osef vele. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam. Ze Elianu ve'amru, ze Elianu ve'amru. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot, osef vele. Nora tehilot, osef vele. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed.
Page 162, V'shamru, which is our line from the Torah, from the book of Exodus, that says, this Shabbat day is a sign forever of the loving relationship between God and the Jewish people. So, Jolie, you have 1 week left before Bat Mitzvah, so you have to come up because you're still a child. And all the rest of you that are pre-bar and Bat Mitzvah, come on up. We are simply leading and you are following, so please get up and join us in our little V'shamru dance. Are we singing?
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat le'dorotan b'ri'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat le'dorotan b'ri'olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, od hi le'olam, od hi le'olam, od hi le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat le'dorotan b'ri'olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, Asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat le'dorotan b'ri'olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Masoret HaShabbat LeDorotan Berit Olam.
Good job. I think you express the spirit of the prayer perfectly. And the central portion of our worship service is the tefillah, which means the prayer, kind of the prayer par excellence. We begin on page 164. If you're able, you may rise. And we have the Adonai,
On the song sheet.
on the back. I didn't realize there was a back. On your song sheet is our Charlie Kramer version of Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, if you don't know it already.
Adonai Sifatai Tiftach V'yagi Tehilatecha Adonai Sifatai Tiftach V'yagi Tehilatecha Open up our lips so we may praise your name. Open up our hearts so we may feel our pain. Open up our souls to let our love make us whole. And we will praise your name. Adonai Sifatai Tiftach V'yagi Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanra, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor L'Olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav L'Hoshia, Morid HaTal, Mechakel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofech Olim, Umatir Basurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Givurot, Umidom Melach, Melech Memid Umechayeh, Umatzmeach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shemcha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalu chasela, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We we continue silently, either with the prayers in our Siddur or the prayers of our hearts. We continue either standing or sitting.
Ose shalom bimromav. Ose shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav. Ose shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down. Aleinu.
We send our thoughts and prayers out to all in need of physical healing, spiritual, emotional healing. On this Shabbat, we especially send our prayers to David Appel, Martin Berlin, Carolyn Bouchard, Stan Baumstein, Ethan Campbell, Daniel Urchik, Mordechai Ben Sarafega, Roisa Bat Shmuel Uvat Sheva, Toby Hart, Tracy Janetta, Julian Kaner, Ellen Kaplan, Erwin Kostrinsky, Marion Kostrinsky, Shelley Lehner, Michelle Lasanti, Nancy Marcus, Arnold Reamer, Sheila Rosenberg, Rosalie Saltiel, Louise Samuels, Bobby Sherman-Geishan, Herman Spring, Andrea Teeple, Carla Teisch, Andy Weitz, Katie Weinstock, Lori Weinstock. Are there others we wish to send our prayers to? Our traditional prayer for healing, Misha Beirach, can be found on your song sheet.
Yishberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah Hu Yevarech v'yirapeh et hacholim Mi sheberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah Hu Yevarech v'yirapeh et hacholim Elna refanala Elna refanala Elna refanala Elna refanala Mi sheberach avotenu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah Hu Yevarech v'yirapeh et hacholim.
Every year, we Jews take a journey from Passover to Shavuot. The distance between these two holidays is 7 weeks of 7 days. So who's taken multiplication yet? Riley, have you? I'm just trying to get everyone's attention. 7 weeks of 7 days is how many days? Anyone do 7 times 7 yet, or not quite? Matthew. $49? Is it 49? Yes, yes. Everyone says 49, very good. 49 days, 7 weeks. In fact, the festival Shavuot, that's what it means. It means weeks, because it's 7 weeks. This time in our year, every year, is called the Omer period. So that is named for the grains. This journey that we take of 7 weeks, it's a lot of different journeys. Originally, the journey way before Judaism was a thing, we had agriculture. And it was the journey from planting seeds to the point where we could start harvesting them and making bread and making all kinds of yummy things we make from grains. So first it started as simply as that. Then it came to represent Passover to Shavuot. What's Passover? Our enslavement in Egypt, a time when we remember a leader who made us slaves. We were considered unworthy because originally we had come from another land. We had preserved some of our customs, and for that reason, we were treated as less than. Unfortunately, a story that has never ended. We moved from this place in Egypt, from a place of enslavement, through the Red Sea into the wilderness to Mount Sinai, which is what brings us to Shavuot. Shavuot is, besides a festival of harvest, is the festival where we remember God giving us the Torah on Mount Sinai in the wilderness, the sense that we move from enslavement to a place of wisdom, learning, growth, education, everything that Torah means to us in our lives. So it's not just a physical journey, but it's a journey every year of the head, of the heart, of the spirit. And this yearly journey also represents our own personal journeys, because multiple times in the course of our lives, we all, in some way, move from a place, a situation, a mindset, something that boxes us in, that keeps us somehow locked up, and we hopefully break from that to a place of enlightenment, a place of growth and of learning on every level. So in recent years, this is of course ancient. We have the agricultural journey of Passover to Shavuot. We have these are ancient holidays, but in our modern day Judaism, which of course continues always to grow and evolve and change, we have added 4 new Jewish holy days, Jewish special days that represent our modern journey as Jews. So just a few things to let you know kind of where we are Jewishly in that journey, where Jews all around the world are in that journey. So like Passover, which marks our cruel enslavement in Egypt, our modern holy day journey begins with the tragic low point in modern Jewish history, of course, the Holocaust. So this is the first of the 4 modern observances. It's marked on the 26th day of the month of Nisan. So you may recognize that the month of Nisan is the month where Passover comes, as the kids know, at the full moon, because we talk about that, right? Passover starts at the full moon in Nisan, and now we've moved along, right? Passover was a couple weeks ago, and we had Holocaust Memorial Day on the 26th of Nisan. So, as I said earlier, Yom HaShoah, Shoah is a word from the Bible that means kind of destroyed to a place of like ashes, and that is the word chosen to represent the modern day Holocaust. It is, as I said, fully Yom HaShoah Ugivurah, the day of the Shoah, of the Holocaust, and Givurah, and of power and strength. Anybody who fought and resisted the Nazis and just murderous anti-Semitism in Europe. So how did this date get chosen? This is interesting. 26th day of Nisan was chosen in Israel because it is exactly halfway between the date when the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising happened. I think a lot of you have probably heard of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. It was one of the major Jewish revolts during Nazi Germany. Unfortunately, it proved unsuccessful, but it was a large number of Jews together who took up arms and fought against the Nazis. So it's a halfway point between that uprising and Israel Independence Day. And Yom HaShoah was chosen to be the midpoint between those 2 days. So we move from this painful day of remembrance of the Holocaust to another day of memory, which comes on the 4th day of next month, which I think hasn't quite, I forget exactly, we're about the 1st of Iyar. I can't remember exactly what Jewish day this is, but about the 1st of Iyar. So the 4th day of Iyar is Yom HaZikaron. That means Memorial Day. It's a day to remember all of Israel's fallen soldiers and those who died in acts of terror in Israel. Over 24,000 young men and women have died in service to their country, meaning Israel, in service to the hope of the Jewish people of a free and safe place for us to live. So sadness overnight turns to celebration, because on the 5th day of Iyar is Yom HaAtzmaut. It is Israel Independence Day. At 4:00 p.m. on May 14th, the 5th day of Iyar, in the year 5708, David Ben-Gurion, seated in the old Tel Aviv Art Museum, rapped his gavel and declared, "By virtue of the natural and historic right of the Jewish people, we hereby proclaim the establishment of the Jewish state in Palestine to be called Medinat Yisrael, the state of Israel." And the final one of the modern Jewish holidays during this Omer period is Yom Yerushalayim, which comes a couple weeks after Yom HaAtzmaut. It marks, it's Jerusalem Day. Yerushalayim is Jerusalem because right after the Six-Day War in 1967, Jerusalem was reunited and Jews once again could enter the old city of Jerusalem. They could go to the Western Wall. They had freedom to be and pray in and visit and live in all of Jerusalem. So what a roller coaster. Our people's modern holy days, reflecting how the Jewish people continues to find our way in the world. We move from marking the Holocaust to remembering the fallen soldiers who died to make the dream of a free Jewish state a reality, to the celebration of Israel becoming a modern country in 1948, and then to Jerusalem, where we had full freedom to worship and live in Jerusalem. Of course, anti-Semitism didn't end when Israel became a modern country, and the state struggles in so many ways, not only from outside forces, but from very different worldviews fighting and competing within Israel itself. But 75 years later, it represents a hope that the Jewish people did not have to spend eternity as a victimized minority in the world. We have strength and power. A journey is just that. It's a journey. We never quite arrive at the destination, but we hope and pray that our journey is forward, that it's toward positivity, that it's toward the light, toward hope and peace, toward a society and a world that is more respectful and kind. During this Jewish season of journey, may each of us do what we are able to move our community, our society, and our world to a better place. And we're about to hear part of the partisan song in Yiddish, the song of those who resisted during the Holocaust, those Jews who resisted. And the last words of the song are, "Mir seinen da," we are still here.
Sorg nicht kein Muras, du gehst dem letzten Weg. Wenn Himmeln bläue, never stehen bläue Tag. Willkommen wird noch unser euch Gebänke schon. Svet auf heute und unser Trott mir seinen da. Willkommen wird noch unser euch Gebänke schon. Svet auf heute und unser Trott mir seinen da.
You must not say that you now walk the final way, because the darkened heavens hide the blue of day. The time we've longed for will at last draw near, and our steps as drums will sound that we are here. The time we've longed for will at last draw near, and our steps as drums will sound that we are here.
So this week, just catching up on some things that are going on here. Tomorrow night, we have the Bodhi Trivia Night. For those of you who haven't been there before, I haven't myself, but I've been told it's a lot of fun. It's for adults. Kids are unfortunately not invited, even though Bodie's putting it on. I believe it's because there's alcohol involved. But it starts at, I believe, 6:30 p.m. So if you haven't already bought tickets, it's, I think, $25 a ticket. Please do so. Join us. It should be a lot of fun. So tomorrow morning, there's Torah discussion at 9 a.m. There is religious school this Sunday, followed by, of course, Mahjong on Monday. And, of course, next week, Jolie will be up here doing her bat mitzvah, becoming a bat mitzvah. So I hope everyone joins us. Thank you to Rabbi. Thank you to Andy. Thank you to Ruth, to our mini choir tonight. Thank you to Xavier, as always. And thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you. And I'd like to call up Jim Marsh and Sandy Lobel. Sandy, by the way, if you didn't see on our Facebook page and on our email, was one of the winners of Volunteer of the Year Award for Coral Springs for all of her service to our city. Mazel tov to her. We continue with Aleinu on page 586, and you may rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהן, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Yesher koach, thank you. You may be seated. This week we remember those whose yahrzeits fall this week and last week, because we did not have a live stream last week and not everybody came to hang out with the doggies on kind of the wet pavement last week, so you may not have been here, although those of us who did had a great deal of fun. So we remember during their time of Shloshim, Sidel, Cameraman, Rappaport, Mary Jane Teal Watton, and those whose yahrzeits fall during this time. Hilda Berkowitz, Elaine Breitkopf, Emmanuel Fine, Maurice Goldstein, Joyce Hendler, Douglas P. Hopp, Jacob Lewis Lehner, Barry Levy, Sam Offgang, Gorman Oroff, Morris Rice, Harvey Rothstein, Dora Selman, Leonard Ralph Schulin, Lester Steinberg, Joseph Strum, Celia Traub, Abe Whitman, Norman Woliner, Richard Botfeld, Linda Bruck, Frida Siegel Scher, David Cohen, Alan Gold, Ronald Goldberg, Murray Goldstein, Michael Gordon, Edward Hart, Max Keel, Milton Kirschbaum, Lawrence Lobel, Arlene Myers, Sophie Marquis Randolph, Elise Rush, Doris Slutsky, Anna Treef. Are there others we wish to remember? We honor all of their memories as we join together with Kaddish, page 598. You may rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divarach yerutei v'yamlech malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. B'agala uvizman kari v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach la'olam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu. La'ela min kol berachata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran b'alma v'yemru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yemru. Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav. Huyaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yemru. Amen. May the one who makes peace on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all the world, as we say, Amen. You may be seated. We move from our sacred prayer of memory to the joy of the Shabbat day, and I call up Billy and Fran Kraft to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi. And everything is coming. Perfect. And Kiddush is on page 123.
Got it. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvoto, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kadsho, v'ahavu ratzon, in kelanu, zikaron l'maaseh bereishit, ki hu yom tehillah l'mikrei kodesh, zecher l'tziat mitzrayim, kivanu v'harta, v'tanu kidshata, mikol ha'amim, v'shavat kodshaka, v'ahavu v'ratzon, enkoltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mikadesh ha-Shabbat. Amen.
L'chaim.
Good. You ready? You don't need this. Hamotzi lechem min ha'oretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min ha'oretz. Amen.
And we conclude with the singing of, now I have the wrong page, of Eli, Eli, 653, which represents, of course, the highs and lows, the sorrows and tragedy of the Holocaust, of Hana Senesh, and of the strength to all those who not only resisted and fought against hatred and oppression in the past, but those who also do so today in our own world. Eli, Eli, 653.
Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer le'olam, hachol ve'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tefilat ha'adam. Hachol ve'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tefilat ha'adam.
Oh God, my God, I pray that these things never end.
The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart.
You did that. I'm going to put this way.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
What the heck? April.